Okay, let's try that stream key, if that's gonna work now. Is it? Oh, stream key, if that's gonna work. Okay, so I the OBS reset my key. I did the whole little spiel, which was going on, and then I was like, but the stream isn't doing anything, and I was literally about a minute and a half into a little spiel about some Section 31 joke, and I can't remember now because I was focused on doing something else. And it's like, oh, no one's seeing anything. So you missed the funniest, the best, the most epic Section 31 joke of all time. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Big old announcement, and you can see my custom background. This is the legacy on this side of Section 31, with the introduction of, and the Easter egg / cleverness of, and then the discovery Easter egg-ness of, and then the new thing, the new lady. So we all know the news, and I quite like the, you could call this show the Section 31 show. I kind of like that most of these initial articles was called the Black Ops show. That tells me so much more than just Section 31. But hi, guys. Hello, everyone. Yes, it's just me today because we were not planning on doing anything today. Well, we were. About 2.5 hours of filming, and then Stuart had to do real-life stuff. And then he had to be somewhere else. And then I was going to do my own work today, which I did do some of, and then this came out. I was like, well, now I have to stream, don't I? And then tomorrow and Wednesday we're doing streams, so end up being a 3 stream day week. And then Discovery comes out on Thursday, and you get Stuart on Thursday, and then us both on Friday. So it's not a work this week. And you can see I'm wearing my Section 31 shirt, meaning black. I've got a little visual aid later on for my Section 31 ship, also black. But hi, guys. So there is 2 super chats that came pre-chat, which is pretty awesome. So thank you so much. Let me just answer those questions. Joseph Perez, hiya, €2. Bestest show after the best Discovery show is coming. I think he means us, and thank you so much. We are absolutely excited to deal with this Discovery season 2 and see how it is. Could be better. They had extensive reshoots. They had had time after a reshuffle to try and make it what it needs to be. So maybe that's helped to reframe the first few episodes into something more positive and more Star Trek. We'll see. And Thomas Potts, $1.99. Did you hear they're ending the Star Trek loot crate? Yes. I guess production issues and all those things didn't help. And I mean, we were meant to get stuff for over a year, and then we sort of didn't. Then we did, and then no one else got stuff. So loot crate didn't quite work out, but that's okay. How's everyone doing tonight? Hi, lots of highs. Hi, guys. And yes, do super chat, and I will answer or read your comment. As part of what we do the streams is to raise money for the channel and have just a fun conversation with you all. But let's get right into the news, which is flooding the interwebs. I'm going to say the most surprising sort of announcement. Another new show, although I've been reading lots of these articles, and it's an all-access show, so it's not a new TV show, and it's the only other one that's live action to be in the Discovery era. So this is the show that can be the heavy reuse of prop sets and actors and costumes. This will be the cheapest other show they're doing. And I want to clarify that when they say new Star Trek series, the definition of series has changed. In the olden days, you could have up to 26 episodes in a season. Discovery was not that. It was 13, then it was 15. So this Michelle Yeoh show, or at least her as a lead, I mean, why couldn't they have it be, 10, like Legends of Tomorrow? High budget, low amounts of episodes, or 6? I think people associate, a new show, meaning it's be a full 20 episode, 40-minute arc. I think this will be one of those like 6 to 8, barely hitting 40 minutes narrative shows. That'll be a sort of a story to get people in the universe that they'll film on standing sets and redress sets, and it'll be the cheaper other one. But to be fair, any Black Ops sort of show, you can do things that every other show can't do. So you can, well, that's the point. You can do anything, both in high budget of, say, going to Andoria and kidnapping the High Matriarch of Andor, or just stay on a forest and hide from Klingon spies. I don't know, the whole plethora of what's there. So, yeah, 151 people, awesome. 2 more super chats, hiya. I'm always bad at, I see myself in the stream. I was a bit confused by trying to listen to myself, sort of. But there are people, and I try and... It's hard to keep a conversation going. Normally Stuart runs the super chat, and I run the chatting a bit more. But there's 2 more. Jaegerbomb, or Yiga, $5. That is a lovely amount. Everyone give 5. It'd be, if 150, 6 of you gave 5, we would have a good month of stability. Huh. I know it's different timelines and all, but the Kelvin timeline did this with Khan, and it blew up in their faces. Don't recruit a space Hitler, which is, I think, an apt consideration. I want to get into that in a moment. Fat Produce, $5. All these new Trek shows being announced makes me worried about oversaturation, to be honest. See, this is what me and Stuart said the other day. Look at the way these different properties have run. You have something like Firefly, which is criminally undersaturated, and people clearly want more, but they're obviously holding it back until, boom, explosion of, wow, we want this. Star Wars was, I don't necessarily agree with oversaturation. You can, when you're given subpar material, then you notice it as like, oh, who cares? If everything coming out is really exciting and interesting and high quality, you're excited for the next one. The best example then, Star Wars being the oversaturated, go away. Marvel, Infinity War, what, 18 films in? 2 a year? Even more excitement for that than the other ones. Bit of a special reason, but you would think episode 8, would have such excitement that a bit less. Oversaturation is only if it's bad stuff. Discovery is not giving anyone hope, or at least those that think about canon as an important part of the show. That's is not a good sign. But if suddenly season 2 Discovery was very good, very well written, not what we want as hardcore Trek fans, but worthwhile TV, then hey, cool. If a Picard show then is great, kind of like a TNG moving forward another few years, which is changes the tone, but if it's well written, okay, we'll know finally what happens to our favourite characters. Could be for bad, could be for good or for bad, but just like Game of Thrones, if you don't know where it's going to go, I don't want everyone to die, but I'm sure some of them will. Things do happen to people. And then comedy to fit a niche, and a children's comedy to a niche, I don't know. If they're all great, then oversaturation I don't think is going to be a thing. But if they're all either bad or mediocre, then the raw excitement of, oh my god, Picard is coming back. Like, that is a lightning in a bottle sort of thing that you can only do once. Like if they got Shatner back, William Shatner, to reprise as Kirk in some sort of epic thing, and it was really good, that would just be, incredible. But if you brought him back and it was awful, then that's his legacy hurt in some small way. So they need to be very careful how they bring these things in and back, and obviously now you've got the Enterprise, or at least the Discovery version of the Enterprise. You've got Spock and Pike, and how they will either hurt or help them. It's real interesting. So if this show, and do remember, guys, me and Stuart have talked about other possible shows for a long time now. Always our top 5 has been a Section 31 show, because it has the most breadth, but also the most risk. Because it is the epitome of the opposite to what the Federation is. The Federation, Starfleet, these are positive entities, a combination of species of joined together for scientific unity and exploration and friendship. And Section 31 was set up to do what must be done. ... And Into Darkness, for all its faults, gave us a pretty interesting look at Section 31 and their, we kill, everyone kill mentality. At least in DS9 a bit more strategic, but it's an interesting thing because you wouldn't, well, you wouldn't want to have a purely evil character like Georgiou Hitler in charge of a Section 31 show, because that's just pure evil. Pure evil. You'd want to have somebody who, okay, use the parallel like Bashir a little bit, you know, the moral grey of, well, maybe I have to do this. And then you deal with the quandaries of that. You know? Yeah, I think that's interesting. But some wonderful people super chatting. Let me get back to those. I sound so British from just by myself. Let's get back to those. Melanie. £4.99, the best currency. You asked for 5? Commander! Hope this helps. It really does. Our episodes don't do as well as they used to, so these super chats are... I mean, I'll let you guys in on a secret, and this is somewhat depressing, but also it shows how well supportive you guys are. In the last month, we earned 65% of our income from super chats, or at least on YouTube, and that is because one side the ad revenue went down and super chats stayed okay. So quite important. So thank you all very much, because it lets us do more and lets me be confident to come and jump in for a few hours, whatever, at the end of the day. Gmon78, £5 again, helpful. Have you ever had issues with Eagle Moss ship deliveries? Yet again, I'm waiting over a week or so for my guarantee next day delivery. I have been subscribers since day 0, and they've been very, very good. I had 2 broken models, and they replaced one of them, but I didn't really care about the second one. I wasn't overly fussed. I had 1 month that lots of people either had them on time or a month and a half late, and I was in the month and a half late, but I also don't open mine straight away because I sort of just don't. I don't know why. I mean, most of the ones I'm not that excited to open anymore. Not for lack of quality, just the ships aren't as exciting as they used to be. And, you know, yeah. So I don't, well, I'm always just about on time, but I mean, I'm a lucky case, and I know that. Axel Foley, oh my god, detective extraordinaire, and here's €5 more, thank you. But Robert Suras, Section 31 is special because it's mysterious. The more we learn, the less interesting it is, like the Borg. I will agree with you. Fat Produce, I'm worried CBS is stretching Trek thin. But they haven't done the thing yet. They've made one show they've made one mediocre show with a basically reboot. And then the short treks, which have been relatively cheap and relatively okay at best, and mostly plot hole ridden, and they feel their budget, and then that's it. So, I mean, we haven't seen them probably do it. And how many potential shows? I think there's been 4 announced and 7 potentials. I mean, I doubt half of them will get made. I can't imagine CBS will throw all of their money in. I mean, it's a hell of a risk. Honestly, make them very cleverly and cheaply, especially if you're doing, you know, a new era like Picard, or that's a whole new set of costumes and such. But I don't know. I think it's only stretched thin if it's bad. But I can't see these other big shows, apart from the Picard show, being necessarily full 22-episode arcs. Everything will be shorter form, but the same budget as a full 22-episode season, so it lets you get a bit more bang for the buck. Yeah. Let's have a look at the chat. Half your shows are just asking for super chats these days, and the other half aren't, and they're still free. All of our content's free, so I think we still do our job and deliver ships every single Saturday, every single Wednesday, and Fleet Yards every single Tuesday until the retirement of the show, currently on hiatus, and guests, and we're still filming every week. So, you know, we also never ask for Patreon, so gotta ask for it somewhere, and you guys are amazing, so sorry. Well, Star Trek is going to have a Black Ops theme to it, or at least we know. Yeah, but do we want to know how the dark side works? Like people said, the idea of Sloane is that we knew nothing, and he was very, very well played in that. I mean, the guy in Enterprise, as you see my LCARs on my display here, he was interesting because that is basically it. That's all we see. He's just the guy in the monitor that controls certain things. It's interesting to not see the headquarters, to not, you know, I'd want Section 31 to be I mean, it didn't, there's darkness, but, you know, it got blowed up, so I didn't really get to see it. I don't want everything to be, you know, splinter cells and everyone not know the commander, which I think is what they did in DS9, but have a sense of we barely have a sense of leadership, let alone control, I think it'd be pretty fun. And then you can ask yourself, well, am I really working for Section 31? Am I really working for the greater good, or am I working for a subsect that's doing this? Or do you have like 8 chapters and all of which are doing different missions? One focused on Klingons, one on internal politics, one on just assassinations. I don't know. I mean, you could develop it, but then like they said, you would then know about the absolutely most secret entity in all of Star Trek. I mean, the Tal Shiar and the Obsidian Order we knew about. They were just the CIA, FBI, whatever, the other entities with a bit more power. Section 31 is so... who knows? It's... writing a mystery is tricky. And all we have to go on is their discovery content. Now, again, different producers, different writers, I think, to some extent. But the track record is not great. So we'll see. John Harrison! Oh my god. Khan! Wonder if they will chuck all these new shows on different streaming services. No, that is the absolute opposite. Absolute opposite to what they are going to do. All Access is their primary platform. If they did have 5 TV shows on All Access, I mean, my goodness, every Trek fan should certainly pay. And then obviously, if the shows are bad, you can then make your dissatisfaction known by cancelling the subscription, and then that'll tell them, damn, we have to make better, different stuff. So that's a good way of doing it. If you don't support, then they might all just go away, but as we know, other shows take more than one season to get going. Problem is they're better showrunners, and that was important. I don't begrudge them any money, but they do beg a lot. We've got to mention it, otherwise people don't know. And these live streams are chatting to raise money to support the channel for episodes that don't make money, but still take 2 hours to make, so... yeah, gotta do it. Trick is on Patreon now. Oh, Furious Fons, you crazy man. Thank you so much. Ha! Dax Jacobson. Trek is a CSI division. I have told Stuart that's some kind of, not necessarily police procedural, but yeah, dealing with crimes or whatever could be interesting. And you can link that into all the other shows. Will be kind of fun. They can't sell these other shows. No one wants them. They have to show viewer numbers. Well, they don't. That we can't talk about. They couldn't sell short treks, but other shows are radically different. You don't think that every single network wants the Picard show if they were offered? I think they would want it because they know the possibleness. Oh gosh. Trek Yards is here. Hi Samuel. Hey guys. Clap. Such a stupid idea for a show. I hate Georgiou. No, it's a dumb idea. She's a bad actress and let's stop the dark Trek. Super chat everyone. It really helps. Thanks, man. Gmon78. Why does no one on DS9 even know who Section 31 is? When it appears 100 years prior, they were common knowledge. That is the weird thing. Let's talk about that for a second. You can see Georgiou in this graph. That is when she walks on to Discovery and in the elevator says, talk about Section 31. They know about Section 31. It's like, oh, hell of a kept secret. Now, I mean, 100 years ago, would we all think things that stopped existing, like if the FBI stopped 100 years ago, would we then think of them straight away? I mean, yes, probably would do. Yeah. I mean, they should still be using some sort of higher level, Section 31 is the true rank, but they've got a public-facing entity. It would be the obvious choice to allow them to say something, and then if the characters figure out, oh, they're this clandestine entity. But the word Section 31, if you know about that name, you can start searching. I know obviously it refers just to the Federation Charter, Section 31 of the Charter. That's fine, but people hear things, they put things together, and so yeah, I definitely don't think that was a good call to make them be so aware and just. But then again, the spore drive was never talked about again. So if this whole plot is never mentioned in canon again, I mean, we're getting slightly further into the it's a parallel universe argument, or at least just rewriting history argument. John Harrison, you tasked me, sir, and I'll have you. Also, what is the guy at the bottom right from? As I said, we have Sloane from DS9. I'm very flipped, can you tell? Fine, Georgiou from Discovery. The guy from the guy that got Georgiou in Section 31 in the Discovery deleted scene, which is sort of canon, well, is canon, but, you know, because they released it online. Section 31 guy from Enterprise. The Section 31 guy. The Alpha and Omega. Yes. Isn't the Commander Cocking show the best? I don't know. Why, Thomas Potts? Thank you, though. I do try. 224 people. Now, I will say, we have a special guest joining us a little bit later. The Ambassador. We all know that Stuart's wife is the Admiral. Well, my father, who is a long-term, long-life Trek fan, I think it's an understatement. He is going to be joining us a little bit later to give his perspective. They were out, came back, and I pointed out new show, and then yeah. We do have a super chat in the PayPal as well, which I'll get to in a little bit, because you can donate via the PayPal at trekyards@hotmail.com, and then we get 100% money, not 30%. Yes, and do click like. But it is very, very strange. It's very, very strange. I again pitch this to Stuart, having multiple mini arcs. So you commission a 6-episode Mirror Universe arc, you commission a 6-episode whatever, and then the obvious choice would be one for Enterprise, one from TOS, TNG, DS9, Void, you know, all those arcs. Tell these interesting stories in familiar context, but ignore them almost completely. You know, take one on DS9 and you get to rebuild the Promenade at least, you know, 30% of it, and you can do the rest as green screen. Brilliant. But I don't see how you could do a. But again, I'm thinking through as I go in my brain. The idea of a Section 31 show, obviously there was implications of the covert entity in season 1. We had the black badges, which in itself, to have a rank, a designation factor for a super ultra mega secret organization is a seriously flawed thing. I mean, yes, their black leather is a bit definitively them. But the only way you see them is if they want you to see them, and only in that way if they choose to see you in that way. Sloane wears normal uniforms multiple times, so that's irrelevant. So black badges is more lazy thinking. Lazy is probably a good word. And over the knock over the head. I'm not sure how you do it differently, but I mean honestly, Georgiou's black hand phaser is a slightly better option. Because then people in the crew might say, oh, they're just a specialist task force. It's not as directly linked to, you know, a division as much. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, and then obviously we had the implication at least of Lorca, implication of the Spore Drive being a Section 31 ship. Probably was in Brian Fuller's original pitch to some extent, and then got dropped because, you know, it all got rewritten. That's why the season's so poor in the middle, because they had to rush to write some filler episodes, and then it didn't work. And then season 2, we're obviously having quite a heavy Mirror Universe Section 31 link, because, you know, Georgiou and Tyler, that he's seen a very interesting costume again, Section 31, and I guess he's now the liaison between people and Section 31 and Kronos and Earth and Death, and I don't know, clearly more of an active presence. But what's their end game? I guess dealing with the aftermath of Takuvma. I mean, I did mention that, you know, well, what is Section 31 doing during Discovery? If they're this uber powerful, you know, look, my ship is bigger, therefore I'm uber powerful, and it's black and lots of guns, therefore more powerful. That's how it works. Yeah, easy visual, lazy visual. What were they doing? You know, why weren't they trying to anti-cloak? Why weren't they whatever in the whatever? The fact that we had so many losses during the stupid war implies how poor they are? I don't know. USS Discovery is Section 31 with no actual evidence of that, just circumstantial. It's tricky. Section 31 is a subset of Starfleet intelligence. No, it's completely unique. This is a problem with vamping, so I gotta read and then talk about vamping. I feel like I have a feeling the show is never gonna get made. Very possible. The speed he talks as a foreigner whose English is a fourth language. I'm up for the challenge. Well, I can only speak one language, so congratulations for doing 4. That's pretty impressive. All these shows will be available on Netflix in the UK. They better be, otherwise they're going to lose a huge amount of their viewership because, you know, if you don't give us the ability to watch in, you know, if we can't get all access, like I would pay for all access if I could get all access. I can't, so I don't. You know, my girlfriend has Netflix, therefore I watch it that way, but if you limit it, it's a bit ridiculous. Section 31 has its roots before even the Third World War. Well, we have no evidence of that because there's no canon before the Third World War, and it was a Federation Charter, Section 31, so... But I mean, there's clandestine groups all the time, but, you know, canon is a tricky thing like that. In DS9, Section 31 was an invention by Sloane because he wanted revenge on the Roman Senate for killing of an admiral. Yes, that's the clever thing. But not really. The USS DeMilo has a spore drive ring for some reason. Possibly. If you look at the actual class of ship, it has a slight cutout. Tricky to see. Use Streamlabs. Google is taking your money. Yes, Stuart is dealing with that. So, blame/love him when that happens. Yeah, Section 31, origin from a novel, but again, that's not canon. Trekers, will the series be serialized or story arc? I would assume both, but quite possibly it'll be very much one big narrative. Hi, Trekers, welcome back. Section 31 is a good idea, but in the Discoveryverse, it will be a disaster. Again, this is the problem. And this is another little case study of interesting. So you took TNG and you had a successful show, very, 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 very popular, height of popularity, and they announced a spin-off, DS9. Premise, most people don't think like, station's a good design, but it's not what people want. Federation Star, well, not Federation Star base, that's kind of the point. It comes out, pretty weak first season, but, you know, it's got some good characters, it gets going, la la la. They commission another show for a new network, not because of the success of DS9, but because the new network, and they know the brand will help spin it off. That idea itself is not as original. It goes back to the roots of TNG because DS9 wasn't working as well, because DS9 found its footing. After that, other thing was commissioned, Voyager, sorry. But Voyager was more classically TNG, but didn't quite have the same character base, all that jazz. But it was more story-focused than character-focused. DS9 was more character-focused. Wasn't lacking story, but, you know, more than sci-fi focused is what I say. And then Enterprise, not sure why, I guess someone just pitched them the prequel idea. Each time, because the strength or weakness of the past one, you're either positive or trepidatious, but knowing it was the same team that did TNG, you at least a base confidence if they know what they're doing. You know, hundreds of episodes of TV and movies and quality and lower quality, but that happens with that much content. So even Enterprise, it could be good. And then you watch season 1, it's like, it's not great. Season 2, it's a bit better. Season 3, ooh, risky, but good risky. Season 4, new direction, link to canon, best season. Some lows, but best season. Then you have 09. Not confident, well, obviously, I guess the Nemesis. You have Nemesis, last thing, and the confidence factor is lower. But 09 has J.J. Abrams, has the flashy factor, has the we're going back to Kirk factor, and it's a new team. So there is no pre-sense of, well, the last team did it bad or good. But then look what happened. It wasn't great, or at least it was a fun ride, but was bad Trek. In Darkness comes out, and it's even worse in most of those respects. And now the trepidation of the team that gave us Into Darkness gives us Beyond. But it was a different team, and it was good. Then you have Discovery. We're all excited because, okay, it's a CBS TV show. Finally, yes, finally. And Brian Fuller. Everyone's like, Brian Fuller, yay, because he has this great reputation. But he wanted this reboot, basically. He wanted to do his own thing and make something new. And turns out it's not what the fans wanted, or at least the majority of the hardcore fan base. It's all generalizations, but, you know, we see a lot more fans than the average fan sees in this community. And then we see the show, but it's got a lot of tinkering, it's got a lot of reorganization. It's very well put together considering how rushed the scripts were and how it was completely reorganized, and the loss of the showrunner and such. Then 2 more showrunners. But now in season 2, we finally have, just like J.J. Abrams again, oh dear, they gave us this last season. Are we confident about this new season? Not so much. But you should always give these things the well, let's see. You know, all the trailers look good. Solid good. Not great, solid good. We're all more used to the art design, so we're not going to bitch as much if that's still wrong. But who knows? You know, if they end up in the Discovery Enterprise TOS uniforms by the end, that would be good. That would be a big improvement. But we'll see. And so, any new shows is tricky, because the last show, not as good. Now, Discovery Season 2, with the new Alex Kurtzman being the primary lead, massive rewrites, having his new vision being the thing. If it's really good, then obviously you should have more faith in these other shows. Because he's the architect of these new shows. Not heavily written by him, because he's not a very good writer, but architect. He might have a good idea, just can't execute it. So, it's not just a case of, is the premise good? Is the team bad? Is the team wrong? You know what I mean? That's the double trickiness of this show. It's like, well, the premise could be amazing. I said to someone on Facebook, if you'd given this show premise to the DS9 writers, you'd be pretty confident, you know, they would do a good job. Pretty confident. You might not like it yourself personally, but you'd probably appreciate all its effort. And that's what I think. See, Stuart can't stop me, can he? Do we know what Section 30 or Section 32 are? Yes, you can go look in the Charter of the Federation. Hi, Scottish Trekkie. How you doing? When is Captain Foley's movie coming out? I don't know what movie that means. Wasn't the original idea for Discovery, that would be an anthology series. That was an original possible idea, not the original actual idea. They bat around a lot of ideas, obviously, so it was just one of the possible ideas. But not necessarily. Section 30 of the cleaners. Yeah, this is what, again, my father said. Jeff Jacobs, I'm all for having as many different series. It's like a shotgun. Likely, you're going to hit something. Very, very true. At some point, you know, what are they trying? They're trying the dark, gritty, modern Trek. They're having the new era, which is what everyone's been clamoring for. Dark Trek, I guess. But that follows more the Game of Thrones, the modern TV trends. The Rick and Morty clever comedy, that's a huge viral hit. That's a good shout. Just cleverness is important. Another kid, more centric show that could be literally anything. Academy show is CW teen drama, and then you got a Khan, but that probably never happened. And now this, for the even darker, even grittier. I mean, if it's an espionage show, like actually really cleverly thought out espionage, you know, each episode is about. Again, but how would that even work? Because she's a Hitler. Michelle Yeoh's evil, and Captain Philippa Georgiou of the Shinjo was boring and a poor captain for the most part. For the most part, poor. That's the script she was given. Empress Philippa Georgiou, the killer death. Didn't she have an amazingly long title? Hold on, Empress Philippa Georgiou. What was her official long title? Yes, it was. Okay. Philippa Georgiou, Her Most Imperial Majesty, Mother of the Fatherland, Overlord of Vulcan, Dominus of Kronos, Region of Andor, Philippa Georgiou, Augustus, Imperatus Citurus. Yeah, that's a lot. She's just evil. She destroyed Kronos. It's not good. It's not good at all. I'm reading the behind the scenes on this character to see if there's anything interesting. Yeah, I don't know. She's such an awful person. I mean, what other shows have a truly evil primary character? Even anti-hero shows like Dark Matter, they're trying to be good. What other shows have evil people? I guess Suicide Squad would be an example, but they're all actively trying to be good. They're all being forced to be good. I guess Georgiou could be as well, but clipping her wings. I mean, she's obviously a very clever and capable leader, but did she win the Empire by being a strategic person? Did she win it by just killing everyone? I mean, because she got to Emperor doesn't necessarily mean she is the best at the job. I mean, again, look at Emperor Sato. She is certainly not the best and most qualified person for the job, or even a very good person at the job necessarily. Yet she got there. So, yeah, I don't know how you do that. You know, if each week was going on a new mission, like I said, each primary planet, like Andor and such, it's interesting, but that's a huge amount of a budget to get that to work. You'd actually have to, you know, either green screen or build those sets, and then, okay, yes, you can then use them for Discovery, if you knew, okay, Star Trek Black Ops Season 1 takes place in 3 of these core planets, and okay, Season 4 of Discovery then has these same planets. I mean, great, cool, good idea. But, and then it's just, yeah. Because it's just evil. I mean, we'll see what she does in Season 2, but maybe she wasn't as evil. Maybe it was Lorca who's pulling some of the strings. Maybe she was moulded by her other one. And obviously we said in the last episode of Season 1, you know, is she not trying to get her home? I mean, okay, yes, Lorca died. She lost her flagship. But I don't think that means she's lost her empire. Yes, she might have lost her primary ship, her primary troops, but she could probably still waltz in and be in charge, or at least fight the person who took charge, you know? It's like saying when Romulus being destroyed, that's the end of the Roman Empire. No, it doesn't. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, back to the chat. And we'll bring our guest in a few minutes. Gmon78 again. I much prefer Captain Georgiou over the Admiral. She was the only other character that actually felt like a Starfleet officer in the first season. Well, she was only in 2 episodes, pretty much. Oh, 99 caster, older than Federation in Canon. Yes, but yeah, it's true. But I meant like, yeah, Starfleet and all that jazz. But I meant like the Earth being togetherness. I mean after the Third World War thing. So yes, although we don't know that was. Did they say it was actually Section 31? Because they would have then. It was because of the Federation Charter they were named that. So presumably it was a pre-thing, but yes. Yes, interesting. But Georgiou feeling like a good captain. I mean, she was given so little to do, and certainly better than Burnham and all that stuff at being a Starfleet officer, but also still not. Georgiou ate her victims after torturing and killing them. Suicide Squad broke some windows. Yes. What do you think of the Klingons shaving their heads because of war? I just think it's just an excuse of really dumb. You know, it's funny. They love to go back and pat themselves on the back. They specifically, Alex Kurtzman specifically said, well, that was the plan the entire time. If that was the plan the entire time, then why did the makeup artist, when it was revealed they're doing hair, he said, I tried to convince Brian against this. I told him it wouldn't work. So I was thrilled I could finally do it in Season 2. I don't think it was a plan. You know, as a problem, the political line changed from, oh yeah, it's fixed, to, oh yeah, Season 1, we're going to make him look awful. So in Season 2, we'll fix him. Stupid idea. It's just a way of retconning it back in. They never had that idea. No, because otherwise all these censors would be pointless. Because they are. Yeah. It's not older than Starfleet, though. Yes, I assume that. The 2 showrunner for the new Section 31 TV show wrote Short Trip, Brightest Star, and the Discovery episode Into the Forest I Go. Well, Brightest Star was something. It had good visuals, but that really wasn't them. And it was very, very poor, we need to get from A to B writing. See, it's just the team. The team's just bad. But the problem with saying that, and I don't say that to be mean, is that there's the director, writer who's how to do his director and do his vision, but the writer's being given instructions by the producer or of the show, and above that, he's saying, right, this episode needs to take place on a planet because we have to have this filler episode. We have to get the sarcophagus ship here, so we have to we're swapping all these things around. Okay, this and this have to happen. The writer's like, okay, so I can't change these core plot points. I have to do the best I can, and I've only got 3 weeks. That was the problem with Discovery Season 1, at least the middle to the end. This way, in the olden days, you pen stories and you pick the best ones and you run with them, and they were more serialized. And yeah, it doesn't give much hope, does it? I don't know. Yeah, sorry, I was. And then the people above them, above the producers, and they say, oh well, we need you have to finish it in 6 days, and it has to be this many pages, and it has to have this beat, and it's following this vision. Artists are amazing. A lot of artists are amazing, but if they're being forced to do stuff in a vein, now I'll tell you a teeny story. When I do VFX for fan films and such, the director is still the bottom line of yes, no, maybe. His word is, once you get the yeah or no from him, that's the end of the discussion. But it's my job to try and enforce the canon, to suggest things that might be better, use my experience. But certain things I'm like, okay, that's what you want? Okay. One of the films I'm working on, I'm using a ship or a set of ships I don't really want to use. I don't necessarily agree with them being used. And that's like, okay, that's the end of the story. I can't really, got to use them. But another fan film, I'm designing all the ships, and that's bloody fun. So you can expect a whole slew of Commander Cochrana's designed ships. How cool is that? Jeff. Yes, Jeff Jacobs, $5. The Admiral was great because she was totally unashamed of her nature and gave no excuses. She made Lorca look compassionate by comparison. The Admiral was real interesting, and she was a very, she was a real interesting character, and I give the actress a lot of respect. She was very human, and doing what had to be done. Yeah, they'd shave their heads even before the war started. Yes, but I think part of their excuse was that Civil War. They were at a Civil War time, and therefore, and since we don't necessarily see the full Civil War later, although we do see a Civil War between... we do see Civil War between Martok and Gowron and other people, so you would assume they'd have done it then. But they didn't invent that yet, because they're retconning on the fly. That's why. Oh. Anyway. Gmon78 again. Do you think they'll tease Kirk's character in Discovery? Great question. I feel like they probably shouldn't. Why? As I said to you before, I said not to you. I said to Stuart, they should bring in George Kirk, because that's an easy way of having a Kirk, and give us some backstory for them, some sense of his relationship. He can call out his younger brother, whatever. It'd be kind of fun. It'd be a nice way of having something the same yet different, yet new, yet. But Kirk himself, again, they've lost the benefit of the doubt. He is a lieutenant on the Farragut. Oh wait, no, he's a ensign in Starfleet Academy. It's like, oh no, he's not. But then it'll prove it's a JoJo verse, or it's a variant of the JoJo verse. He then becomes captain really quickly. I don't know. Stupid. But then it'll prove. Also, is my signal guy? Am I actually delivering, do you guys think, a 1080p at 60 frames a second? Because it tells me I am. What do you guys think of the quality? Literally everyone in this chat understands Star Trek more than those currently over Star Trek. Yeah. They should have had a scene where Lorca's triple growls at Ash Tyler. Yes. Marty. Yes, it was, but they changed things. Remember the Klingon cloaking device that never happened? Oh, wait. Klingon cloaking device happened. Weird. Right, I am going to send word for my special guest. Doesn't look like 1080p on my end. 240p here, jeez. While I'm streaming at the green, 60 frames a second, 1,365 kilobytes a second. I could probably up that, to be fair. Let me upgrade the bit rate to 25, and let's see if that does anything. That might interfere. See if that improved anything. In Star Trek on Discovery Patrol, Tilly mentions the Kirk's and Starfleet Academy at the beginning of the war. Yes, and he shouldn't necessarily be. Is Orville better than Discovery? Depends what you're looking for. I think that did increase the quality of the stream. I think my bitrate did hold up there. Normally I do these things with Stuart and it doesn't quite like the double people on stream. Let me up that again to 3,400. I wonder if that'll do anything. Are we still... Right, I've now just tripled it from where I started at. So you guys let me know, am I really good now? I might be, I do look. I think it looks a bit better. Yay, the quality. Let's go at my Chromacast. Oh my god, Section 31 series, I'm so happy. Daniel, Hot Topics, why are you happy? Yeah. Simple. Everyone give a one word or one little line. Why are you happy? Only if you're happy. Don't let me know if you're not happy. Why are you happy about this show? One little thing, and I'll read a couple of those. I'm waiting for the father to come in, the ambassador. But just briefly, why? No bad, no anything, just so I can read out a couple of things. See, Urman, no, please, no more Star Trek. Well, from Discovery people, maybe. Different than the same formula, yep. More Michelle Yeoh, yep. Yeah, try and refresh page to improve quality. Seems that they are... Discovery seems to be doing well, since it's getting a second season spin-off. Well, they're trying to push it into doing well. That's why all this stuff is coming out right as season 2 is going to start. Because, boy, wow, the brand confidence of all these shows. I mean, that's what happened for Star Trek Beyond. They announced Star Trek 4 because it got brand confidence. Discovery, they're announcing 4 new things. Half of them won't happen. Pretty much guaranteed. The funding just won't be there. They just can't afford that. It's incredible. To see some spy type things in Federation. Yep. No Michael Burnham. I can yeah. Okay, 1 second. Pause. Hello. Right, I'm gonna alter my stream so you can see a bit more of the screen, because there is limited room in this room. I don't know if you guys know, but I have a small office, and let's increase the borders. There's only 1 chair though, which is a slight limitation, but you can pop your head in, and you gotta come in first. This is the magic of not cinema, and you can sit down if you want. I'll just be behind you.
I should have brought.
And you gotta close the door, so you gotta go.
My own command chair.
Yeah. Are we going to focus on us? No, we're out of focus. And he looks a bit red because he's got a red uniform. So this is the out of... That's just showing off. He's slowly beaming in. How do I go to my webcam? There it is. I move for 1 second, it does this. So, introduce yourself. Oh, that's Zoom. Introduce yourself, please. And thank you.
I am the director of all these Hollow series that you're starting to get.
I feel like that's true. Okay, there we go.
You're receiving on Earth.
I don't feel like that's true at all.
See, Starfleet decided that they wanted to take control of the dramatization and fictionalization of the Star Trek universe. So this Section 31 that we're producing is not real. It's fiction, but it's good entertainment. So people are fantasizing about what life in the universe could be like, because for some people it's quite boring serving on the Galaxy class. Nothing much happens.
Oh, it's brilliant. Joseph Perez, €2. There's a chance not to mess up the Canon more. Yes. Let's see. Yo, Dad. Hello, Admiral. Not an Admiral. No, Ambassador. I feel. Oh, hey, Mech Random. Welcome. He is a captain. You have captain. No, he's got Lieutenant. Look, he's got pips. You can even see he's not a captain. So they're all. He's not even that. He's a lieutenant.
Well, us Section 31 types. We're always wearing disguises.
Tish.
Absolutely.
Like my LCARS thing of all the different known people.
Yes, that's very interesting.
Can you name them all?
Nope.
Do you know where they're from? Come on. Do you know where they're from?
I know Jean-Luc Picard. Personally.
Which one is Jean-Luc Picard then? If that's yours?
Well, he's not there.
Oh,
so.
But do you know any of them? You must recognise at least one. Well, definitely.
I've seen one of those on the holo novels that are being produced.
Yes. See, Dad is a fan, but he hasn't got the same encyclopedic knowledge as I do, and also hasn't seen DS9 that much.
Not such a fan of DS9.
Probably for the reasons.
Too much war.
Probably for the reasons he's not going to like the, and that we're all not going to like the.
No, I'm quite prepared to like.
Show as much.
Quite prepared to like the series. I'm strange in a way that I quite liked Into Darkness, because I like the spy aspect of it. I like Benedict Cumberbatch.
What? So you like the obviously evil villainship because it's black and big?
No. My objection always is to when you dilute the brand too much by having so many different, divergent iterations.
Also, your dislike for the lack of canon and care. I think it's more than diluting the brand.
Well, I'm a TOS boy, so I'm always going to be Kirk, Spock, and McCoy in the end. The upbeat, positive outlook for mankind and the universe. More jaw, less war. That rhymes.
It does. So, guys, super chat to say hi, because he's got a lot of experience in the Trek world. If you want to hear what another Trekkie man thinks about but so I've already given you guys the rundown. I think so. You heard this announcement when I told you about this announcement very shortly. What do you think about a new Section 31 Discovery era show with Empress, Mirror Universe, Mass Murderer, Killer of Everyone Ever, Destroyer of Kronos? As at least a primary character, because they've announced her, but she could be anything between recurring, primary, or just head of the cast. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts, having a completely evil and proven mass murderer as the lead in a series is quite innovative for Star Trek. It's a bit like having the serial killer who was a pathologist.
Central in the frame. Actually central. Oh, that's right.
Well, because of the time delay, because this is not travelling at light speed, there is some kind of delay between me talking and what I'm seeing, as if I'm in the orbit of Saturn, really.
But keep going about with Discovery thing.
No, so it's actually quite an interesting premise to have someone who is known to be quite evil, unless they're going to show that she's just misunderstood, and she goes on this journey where you see the compassionate side between chopping people's arms off and taking bites out of them. So as a drama series, it should be quite interesting. There's a lot they could do with it. It's what does it do to the overall brand that's the issue, and what would the Great Bird of the Galaxy think of what they're doing to his brand?
We didn't like DS9 or Star Trek 6.
So if you think of it, his brand, I think. But as I said, if you take a step back, as we are learning to do with the modern iteration of Star Trek, and just see it as a fictionalized version of Star Trek, which perhaps is entertaining the actual prime line Star Trek people, then it's just like holo novels, and you can just like enjoy it that way. It's not real; it's just fantasy.
But Trek has always been about continuing the universe and adding to the fantasy and making it very real, and it's fantasy. I talk about it every week on the show.
Well, I'm sure to new fans who are coming to it, there'll be things for them. For older fans who preferred a different style of product, it's not so entertaining, shall we say. It's worth a watch. once.
Well, entertaining.
We can always live in hope. Be interesting to see, give Patrick a fair crack and see what he wants to do with his role. He's a first-class actor, a proper thespian, so he knows how to do drama, and if he has some kind of creative control, you might be getting a bit more characterization and drama.
Problem is, as we know, he was the one that wanted the Doom Buggies in Nemesis. He wanted more action and more drama with that.
Well,
so he doesn't necessarily understand everything, but I think everyone assumed they were getting a 5th film, and so why not have some fun? If you know it's your last outing, that's a different perspective than one of the last. I mean,
Well, we did have some private conversations with Patrick, so there's stuff that he said that we didn't.
Yeah, we just don't talk about that. Yeah.
So it was a bit of a surprise when he heard he was doing a new one. So that he had to be incentivized to do that.
Well, doing something different.
And the good thing for all of us is it is set in the future and not trying to shoehorn it into the past with the wrong tech and.
But as we know, if you start canonizing the future, then there's nowhere left to go. You've now changed the past and the future, and now all you've got is the middle.
I miss the next generation.
This summary uniform, yeah.
Yes, and
led by original Trek fans that were hired almost because they love the Trek. I mean, Mark Ikuda.
Where's Doug Drexler when you need him? Or Rick Sternberg?
But he's still making trips to Island Canada, so he's doing.
Well, yes. I mean, it'd be nice if they were involved in some way.
Yeah, I lowered the bitrate because someone said it was a flip book. It looks absolutely fine on our screen, but I lowered it back down to about 2/3 of what it was a second ago. That might help.
So yes, we all have to give it a chance, but it does, as one of your colleagues said, one of your watchers said, I was listening in about scattergun. It is a bit like a shotgun. If you shoot enough pellets out, you'll hit a target. You're hoping, rather than focusing on quality and fine tuning things. And it seems a bit like trying to find out what works, what gains traction, and then run with that.
Interesting comment from Brandon Goss. How can you blame the bad aspects of it on Brian Fuller? He was pushed out before the show even started production or casting. Everything could have been changed for better or worse. Not correct. Brian Fuller was pushed out during filming of the pilot. He written the episodes 1, 2, and 3. He already approved all the Klingon makeups, all the ship designs, all the costumes, all the casting. I'm pretty sure he was involved heavily in that, given that he was absolutely still in production at that point. So all of the art style was his invention. That's why at the end of the season you suddenly have the circle nacelles, you have the alterations to Klingons in season 2. His influence was gone, and therefore it got to change because they couldn't obviously change your entire art design midway through a season and show the weakness of the product by doing that. But when they got the chance to, they're slowly changing it, and it's now a way they can hopefully bring it back. So no, he was heavily involved and then sort of cut out. They had to re-script episodes 4 to 8, but still his base storyline and his, Mirror Universe was always his plan. They just had to corrupt it and change it a bit to make it work.
The thing about creative types is you always make a name for yourself by doing something that stands out and is different. It's very difficult to want to follow in other people's footsteps and just replicate what they've done, but only make subtle changes. So I know there is a natural impetus in all creative people to do something original. So it's very difficult when you're working in a franchise where canon is quite important, especially to the fan base. Do you want to don't want to be seen to be slavishly following what's gone on before? But sometimes you can have too radical a change. And given the professionals involved in this project and the salaries flying around, you think that people would have a stronger handle on what's going on, really. Especially with what their fan base actually wants.
Someone's audio really low, but I sound fine on my end. I'm not that far away from it, and you're absolutely fine.
Well, I could project a bit more.
No, that would blow it out a bit. Someone said a good comment of... someone said Captain Picard. Someone pointed out the new Section 31 show, that's quite similar to Renegades, the fan film, which was obviously about a renegade group of people who were working with Tuvok in Section 31, and you did not like that for its anti-prime, anti-thing. So it's kind of interesting, possibly interested in the change of paradigm, but you didn't like a show that is trying to be canon and yet doing that thing. Thoughts? Because I like Renegades, I worked on it. I'm a bit biased, but I liked it.
I'm a bit biased because I like the fact you worked on it as well. In the end, it's just too underhand for what Gene had in mind about
that version
being better than we are now and going in for all this espionage and Kirk had its sort of devious darkness. It's fun to watch, and take off Star Trek, it's fun to watch. It's when you try to shoehorn it into this 50-odd years of history.
But Renegades did that just fine. Did a great job. The Klingon battlecruiser, beautiful design. Icarus was
well, you know
quite
more
nice.
about the film than I do.
I know. But you didn't like the themes. It wasn't Star Trek.
I like Voyager, actually.
I know, we both do. So do you not count DS9 as canon or Star Trek 6, even though he didn't approve either of those? He specifically didn't like the cut of
Star Trek 6 never liked those uniforms, which is...
But that's
so
the
you do like
least...
uniforms. They're too militaristic. Didn't like the fact that cadets were sleeping in bunk beds. You know, just...
Lack of space, man. Lack of space on the ship.
Yeah.
It's not that big
When
a ship.
you've got a thing that can go at light speed that big, they can have all the space in the world.
But they chose not to for a reason.
Yes, because they wanted it to be like a submarine type environment. But it's a good story. So it's a story which carries it along often. Even poor effects and not so good acting. If you've got a good story which engages, you're prepared to suspend your disbelief. That's like when you go into a theatre, a live theatre, you have people on stage, minimum props, minimum settings, but they can transport you into another world, and you actually really believe, like Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap, that you're in some kind of stately home in the middle of the English countryside trying to work out who murdered someone. I mean, you're there live on a stage. It's just one room. So it's the story in the end, as you know. It's the story that really carries things along, and that's what people remember.
And the story is very much told by the script. If the script isn't good, the story could be amazing. But like the Renegade story is pretty good.
It helps you have reasonably good actors.
Ambassador Cockings. Someone said someone has to change the audio normally when he listened to us. I always put the audio at the same levels at -12 for all of us, and because I'm further away than him, and I'm not directional, so I'm a little bit less loud, but I'm plenty loud. Listen to it. I mean, if you look at the audio level, I'm currently at a -20, and you're talking at a...
Well, I can talk even louder if you want.
About the same as me.
I can be much more animated. I'm trying to be very controlled and...
I'm more tinny.
And diplomatic.
Further away. And someone asked you, hated the Monster Maroon? Question mark. I assume he's confused by this.
I'm not a great fan of the Ruther Khan outfits. I have to be frank. Although they're very nice and colourful. Again, in their own context, they're really smart. Samuel's got one that looks really smart.
I guess the contrast, though, did you like the motion picture then? Because those were the exact opposite.
The motion picture was too wishy-washy, namby-pamby. Really.
So you want the red colour, but the black definition colour.
I think TNG and Voyager and even Deep Space Nine, they got that was the best iteration, revamp of the outfits, even though they were very uncomfortable to wear.
Which one, sorry?
The ones from
I have to read the chat.
TNG,
oh yeah,
Voyager, and the early Deep Space Nine before they had the
First Contact uniforms.
Yeah, which again went a bit too grey and dark.
Well, good old gamer says my favourite uniform was Enterprise. What about the Enterprise jumpsuit? The most practical of all the uniforms with pockets. Revelation.
It is an interesting exercise to try and de-technify your franchise to make it look like it's in the past. But I think if we had reached that point where we are going fast and light, we would be substantially more advanced and our outfits would be better than that.
But you say that, and yet when you get more advanced, you start appreciating the simple things like a book. Just because you have technology doesn't mean you need to make a glow-in-the-dark neon jumpsuit.
Just the fabric it's made out of, like cotton fabric, whatever.
It probably wasn't made out of cotton, was it? Space cotton.
Yes, they're quite fun.
Space jumpsuit. Just because you have a real outfit doesn't mean you know how it's made in reality of space.
These are the best outfits. The TNG, Voyager.
They're not. These ones though, they do highlight the gut more. You look fatter in these than the Voyager ones. I think they're more slimming, just the nature of the black hides. That's not used to, like Riker and stuff. They put on a small thing, but I think these do accentuate a bit more of the... But no one was large at the start of TNG, but they got a bit more...
So I'm looking forward to seeing the Section 31. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it.
Someone said bring him on again with huge amounts of exclamation... Well, huge amounts of capital lock. I'd look at the keyboard. No, it's an interesting concept. But then I guess the other question is, out of all the shows, so currently... But what does announced really mean? They confirmed Star Trek 4 as a promotional push for Star Trek Beyond. because it makes it seem, oh, he's announced. So they do lie. It's just marketing. They can say whatever they want.
Or lie, you know,
Well, it wasn't.
as your attorney. It's quite a
Now it's
strong
been
word.
whatever. They knew something else.
They were optimistic.
Duplicitous in a smallish way. So we've got currently announced. Are you ready for this? Discovery Season 2 coming this week. This week. Oh my god. Are you excited?
No.
Okay.
I'll watch it though, and then maybe I will get excited.
It's true.
If you're going with very, very low expectations, like at the cinema, sometimes you are pleasantly surprised.
Like Predators, which
Yeah.
I think both liked more than the reviewers did because we went low expectations. Aquaman, I actually really enjoyed it, low expectations. So you got the Discovery, the Picard series, which is radically different personality Picard than the olden day, but that's because 20 years have passed. The this show, Section 31, obviously, the animated series by Rick and Morty team, or at least one of the writers.
Well, love Rick and Morty.
One of the writers. And that's important. It's not the showrunner who basically invented it. So it's a little bit...
I'm not a great fan of the animated series, and I saw it when it first came out.
Stuart loves the animated series.
I didn't like the incidental music for starters. It really kind of grated.
I can see that. Then you got the new...
I felt like you were being cheated because you didn't get the real actors. It felt like
You got most of them.
No, you didn't get them in person.
Oh, sure. And you got James Doohan playing like 11 parts out of it.
Well, he's a good voice actor. So
He's a good voice actor. Then you got the second animated series, which is meant to be more kid focused.
Right.
As if the rest of Trek isn't kid friendly. Any child of 5 to 4 to 20 can watch TNG and you wouldn't even blink.
Well, I was watching Star Trek when it came to Britain when I was 8.
Yeah.
And I made you watch it when you were 4, so that's how child friendly it is.
3. You told me 3 before.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, nearly 4.
Nearly 4. It's close enough. So, and then
The Corbomite maneuver.
Yes.
Everyone knows that episode with a really, really scary guy in it, fake alien in it, because Baylock is too cute and cuddly and looks like a child. So he has this alter image like Mr. Hyde.
Yes.
His Jekyll. So that's the one I thought I'd first show you to see how you coped with it. And you quite liked it.
Yeah. And then we also have a maybe Academy show, which is more aired towards a more teen-ish, drama-ish sort of show. So out of those 7...
Beverly Hills 501 or whatever, 50101.
Yeah.
Right.
Out of those ones, bare bones thoughts on which one's more excited about, given the unknowns.
Like you said in your earlier part of the broadcast, it's the team behind it that can make you more interested. If you know something about the industry and who's producing these things and what they've done in the past, it's not always a 100% infallible guide, but I like Rick and Morty. I like the humour. I don't know if you can transport that kind of approach to the cartoon series, but it would be quite interesting if it has that edge.
Also the cleverness. It's exceptionally clever.
It is very densely written.
That's good. Yeah.
But the Picard series, because I'm slightly invested in Patrick, and I'm interested to know a bit about his backstory personally, and as an actor, a proper Shakespearean actor, I like to see his range and see what he's going to do with it. If he's going to get more Shakespearean, maybe.
That's interesting. But again, every rumor could be started by anyone. There's a rumor of a Pike and Spock series that will replace Discovery. I liked both Pike and Spock in the trailer, but I like the actor that plays Spock, so I have a slight disposition to like him anyway. I mean, you could then take half the cast from Discovery onto the Enterprise if you want to.
My thing about Discovery is it lacks a sufficient amount of optimism at the moment, that this is some place that we all want to go to. It's a future that's worth striving for. Things are going to be better. We're going to be better than we are now. It's just a bit too dark most of the time.
Also poorly written, for the most part.
I mean,
averagely more.
The wonderful thing about TOS and indeed TNG, I'm sure Voyager, though I can't remember, is that you could have serious episodes and then you could have episodes which were funny, like The Trouble with Tribbles. I mean, it's just a fantastic episode.
Yes. Which
was got across a serious point, had Klingons in it, but it was entertaining. Or a piece of the action. I mean, how about that going to 1930s gangster type and shoehorning that in? So Discovery's too set in that dark, narrow, I don't really want to be working here environment.
Narrow is an interesting word, because the range of what Discovery was. We saw the Mud episode, which was a bit more Trekky, but also it had mass murder of him killing the crew again and again and again. So it had the best of Trek with the cool time loop story, but also just mass murder, just murder. They still can't get away from the base.
I've probably already said this theory. I mean, in the 1960s, when TOS first started, we thought we were on the verge of Armageddon. There was going to be a nuclear war between Russia and America. People were in a very dark place. Civil rights was going on. They wanted a hopeful future because there was so much darkness around their lives. Then when things got better in the maybe 80s, 90s, and people felt able to watch more darkness on TV because their life was a bit better. Now you could say the cycle's going the other way with things going on. People want more optimism in their drama, not darkness, because there's enough darkness in the world they want to get away from. So they could do with a bit more upbeat, and if that's what they're going to do with some of these cartoon series, or...
Although, interesting...
You could have done a good spin-off with the original Mud, couldn't you? The original Mud character, maybe even this one. His adventures, what he gets up to.
What would a random civilian dude...
Well, no, as a comic sort of like
con-man.
pirate radical
con-man.
guy, con-man with a heart of gold. Now that would have been something to run with.
Yes. Star Trek Discovery's been cancelled, hasn't it? No, it's coming out on Thursday. I was going to bring up one more thing before you popped off, but I already forgot it, which is a bit annoying. Because you said lots of interesting things there, which is annoying, so I'm trying to remember it, but... And then people, other things. I think just the Optimism is a fair shout. Oh, that's what it was, right. The Orville. Now, the Orville's interesting because the Orville season 1, optimistic and fun. Season 2 had dark issues to contend with. It has not been bright and optimistic and actually lost that, I would say.
I think the Orville season 1, especially the later episodes, had the right combination of very targeted minimalist humour and proper science fiction, and they've gone too far, funnily enough, towards being straight science fiction, because what gave the Orville its kind of edge was that appropriate cutting humour, not some humour that has been shoehorned in. There were a couple of lines in what first episode or second episode which looked like they just put them there because they thought they ought to have some humour, and it just didn't sit at all with the drama. So I'm hoping, I really liked the last episode, episode 3, Lara's episode.
Well, I tell you what, I need to go to the loo. You got one super chat for you. So everyone who I'm going to leave him for 5 minutes to super chat. It'll talk to the chat, which is that thing over there.
Jeff Jacobs.
Jeff, so you read them out. Everyone can talk to you now. And
paying to say thanks to the ambassador for providing much needed historical context. Can you also discuss similar situation with Enterprise? And what do you mean by Enterprise situation? The fact that they retrofitted history. Again, I've watched Enterprise and I like the leads in that as well, but again, I'm a TOS boy and TNG boy and Voyager boy, so those are the eras I'm really comfortable with. I wasn't very... Sam was a great fan of the Xindi arc, and I just felt that somewhat contrived, but hey, that's just me. Does the Orville need a movie? That would be an interesting idea. The problem with movies is that they make few of them over a long period of time, and so they feel they are at liberty to take quite extreme directions with the cast, with the ships, because they're not going to be needed for next week or the week after. So let's blow up the Enterprise. Let's kill Spock. Let's kill Data. I mean, killing Data. And there were obviously going to be a follow-up film where they kind of brought Data back in another form. Roger C. Karma was in talks to do a Mud show in the 1960s at one point. Yeah, that would have been a lot of fun, actually. That's a missed opportunity. Have you watched the...
have you had any more super chats?
Bill Barkley, no. Ambassador, Have you watched the fan series Star Trek Continues? Yes, watched all of those. And we know the people behind that as well.
Yeah.
And the last double bill, when they rounded off the series and brought Star Trek into the movie, was probably the best Trek I've seen.
For a while, yeah. And guys, one more super chat question, and then he can go. Please do something or other. Thanks, David. One more, guys. One more super chat, and then he can go off. That's always a problem with that, but I'll jump back in and talk to you for a bit more. Come on, who wants to be the final? And then he can answer any question because we're under contractual obligation to answer what is in the super chat question.
Yes, talking about must be fun to have a dad who's a Star Trek fan. So everything you see here is kind of my responsibility, really, for introducing him to Star Trek. So
blame. No, it's funny. Yeah, it's.
But then I got out of Star Trek a bit.
No, terrible.
And then Samuel brought me back by being involved in the Star Trek universe, and through him, I've got to meet lots of extra people and become friends.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing. But then you got involved in Stargate before that, and that got me involved in Stargate.
No.
Yes, and made me spend a lot of money on building one of the biggest collection of original Stargate props and costumes in Britain. Crock. And talking about Jason Momoa, my man who plays the guitar. Yeah. That's how I remember him, playing the guitar.
One more super chat, guys. One more. Come on, who wants to be the guy?
I'm not going to name drop and say that I met Gene Roddenberry. Or Rod Roddenberry, or Major Barrett.
That's redacted because he promised he wouldn't.
That's right. We'll edit that out because this is live, is it?
I don't do that sort of backhandedness. I just don't say things that I'm not. If you want to brag, you can brag, but don't brag about not bragging that you have to brag.
It's supposed to be funny.
For $1, he'll brag.
It's supposed to be funny.
So $5, and he'll tell the story of how he actually met Gene Roddenberry.
Oh, they've already heard this, haven't they?
Yeah, but these people hasn't necessarily. So, guys...
Yes, Trials and Tribulations.
Read out everything.
Right. Gimon78, £5. Ambassador, did you watch the DS9 episode Trials and Tribulations? Yes, and it was very, very good. And obviously Doug worked a lot hard on that episode to recreate all the sets and the L cars and also the tricorder as well. I love the comment she said, the Trill lady. Dax said when she liked all that Bakelite black and silver and
elegantly simple. Yeah.
Yes, so that when it's like hang a lantern on it, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Because obviously it is really out of place for the future, but it does have a nice sleek look.
Well, I mean, would this be the future?
Ambassador Dad, come more often. I can come in all sorts of things. I can come as a wraith.
It's true. I mean, I've wanted to.
Actually, I've got quite a few Star Trek outfits. Some of them original, so.
Yeah.
Wear those.
And then also another ask to participate more because it's funny because I wasn't expecting you to come along today, but Stuart couldn't, and do it myself. It's kind of difficult to talk, and I can talk a lot.
It's nice
but I like bouncing off people.
It is interesting when people interact with each other.
Yep.
And I'm being quite controlled. I can get quite animated and excited, but I feel wearing the uniform, I have to project an image of authority and
he is playing
diplomacy.
The uniformed part. That's true.
That's right. All about the story about me wearing my TOS science outfit with phaser and tricorder, marching across because we were filming, we were interviewing various cast members, and you were going to interview
like who?
Tuvok.
Yep.
And Andrew Probert as well.
Yep.
But the daughter, Bald Queen, and Ikara Sulu's daughter.
Good.
And
Jacqueline
she was signing, and we were waiting for her. So in the end, I marched across the convention hall to her desk in my Star Trek blue outfit, and stood towering over her. And she did a double take, and she stepped back, and I said, "We're ready for you now." Obviously, she knows that Star Trek apparently is a fictional universe, and I wasn't really a Starfleet commander, but because I had the bearing and the authority and the purposefulness.
You authority. Doesn't exude authority, doesn't he, guys?
She just reacted as if I was a member of Starfleet commanding her to come to an interview. It was really quite funny. I wish that we'd actually filmed that. Yeah, the reaction would have been quite priceless.
I was lugging a camera around, and that was a good.
So the thing is that you can either wear the clothes or the clothes wear you. There's a difference to it, isn't there?
And I just want to thank 2 direct PayPal donations. Thanks so much. $5 Canadian from D.A. Milas Racco. Thank you so much. Sorry about the name butchering, I'm sure. And another 5 Canadian from Bill Olsen. So thank you very, very much. Those go directly into our amount. And that's pretty cool. So yeah, thank you, everybody. I'm still chatting, but any very short last word?
I'm not very good at short last words.
And there we go. He got his
Live.
Live.
Live long and prosper, but no one can see that.
So
I can't see it.
No, it's not real time. So I hope you did the joke of a very short last word. But thank you. Like a short
Right,
word.
so I'm supposed to give up the command chair to
loud, isn't it?
my junior officer.
Well,
colleague.
I'm a command as well, apparently, so we share a rank called my fictional rank.
But I'm section 31.
I'm wearing the black shirt.
I'm
very much.
I'm actually a rear
I
admiral.
wore it on purpose.
I'm in disguise. How good are you at section 31 if you look like you're from section 31? You're supposed to not look like you're from section 31.
But have you seen Discovery episode 1 of episode 2 of the Black Badges, Dad? That's part of the role, is to have black badges to easily show who is in a secret organisation. Remember, in the trailer, Georgiou holds out her badge and is like, hey, Pike, look at this. I'm in section 31. He's like, section 31? She's like, yes.
I do wish Gene Roddenberry was alive, because I'd love to interview
sue
him.
him or something.
Wouldn't it be great if we get Gene Roddenberry on Trek Yards and talk to him?
That
would get a big viewership, wouldn't it?
That would be slightly impressive. Can we organise that somehow?
Well, apparently you've got to find a
Guardian of Forever?
Go very fast around a spinning star.
Do you want to know something funny?
I love funny stuff. That's why I like the Orville last season.
You know how in Superman he goes around the Earth?
Yes, and turns
is that silly or so smart?
Rotating the Earth in the opposite direction would have no effect. It would just screw up the oceans and the wind patterns.
Yeah, I think most people would agree that was a slightly daft thing, and they just did it in the Flash crossover. Not the exact. It was a much more muted version, but it was like, wow.
But it was entertaining after it's supposed to be entertainment, isn't it?
That's a good crossover. So thank you so much, and
That's all right.
For a good 20 minutes, half an hour of the stream.
Enterprise, one to
guest.
beam up.
And last time he was in TOS. This time he's in TNG, and that was a surprise. So next time I have to keep alternating uniforms, don't you?
We've got a few to go.
I think that's kind of part of the sell. So if you want to,
all right,
depart space talk.
Not beaming effect.
You already did. It was added in post.
Bye bye. Bye bye everybody.
Wow, really? Added in post. Everyone sees that, right? Thank you, Dad. Have a good evening. I don't need to put headphones in because I had headphones. You could ask Roddenberry. No, we could not, because he's, well, been paid by them to be on the team and then not, and then fired and then not, and then hello everyone, I'm back. Just me. So how is that then, guys? Watching the other Cockings in the household, talking Trek with you all. But always a fun time. Always a fun time. My dad. Oh, dear. Oh. Let's see if anyone has any other things. You have the con, Mr. Cockings. Yeah. I sound relieved. Yes. Oh, the German was here, or is here. Hiya. Do you like playing Star Trek Online? I did when I played it a long time ago. Alex Kriegers, who I met, interviewed at that point. Is good to have him on the live stream. It was. Your dad is awesome. Yes, he is. He's a legend. I would say so. Did do a nice job, but he's used to giving speeches these days. So yeah, we're still talking about Section 31. Can you tell by all these different people? I want to go back to then that and is it bad that I like the notion of the Black Ops version rather than Section 31 specific version? It wasn't Legends Warriors actually in the Supergirl episode, but I don't want to give too many spoilers. The Black Ops is interesting because it implies just a team, just a under the radar mission. Section 31 goes a full hog of being the dark clandestine thing, and that opens up the door. So I kind of like it being with that version. Yeah, it's back on. Oh, got messages I leave. Yeah, so I mean, Star Trek Black Ops. Because what would you just call it Star Trek Section 31 is so. You need to show so many things about the the ethos of Section 31, and as Peel said at the start of the stream, it should remain somewhat of a mystery. I think that's important. Jill Wright, I'm 7 minutes behind the chat, but thanks, Ambassador, for raising such a lovely son. How kind is that? And for the super chat, thanks so much, Jill. You're always epic. I wouldn't mind Black Ops, but I'm over the Mirror Universe. Black Ops like a Mako SEAL team. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I could see it being more like that. But guys, do... Just missed him, was out and about. Mark, you can see the entire thing earlier. There's a good few minutes of it. But I'm still got about half an hour left with you guys, so do chat to me about anything Section 31 and what the potential are. Ooh, Voyager Elite Force sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, no, I can go off on a bit of a tangent. Would you like... I mean, if you guys have noticed, I can pitch Trek shows pretty much on the fly. So, quick yes or no's, and I'll count them up. If you'd like me to pitch what I would do for an impromptu Section 31 show, let me know, and I'll have a think, and I'll start pitching something cool while it lets all of you chat and super chat up so I can answer the questions. So let me know a yes or a no, or a yes absolutely or a no absolutely not. All the good things. Got the Kelvin timeline book. Always. I wonder if they've got a any Vengeance alternates. I bet they do. Can we see? So the Eaglemoss Kelvin book. Hold up really high to see. Ooh. So that's kind of a cool concept. Weird, but it was kind of cool. Pincer is more cohesive, much more conventional, but then really weird things. Such an odd design. It's both got a lot of thought and a lot of lack of thought, which is weird. Anyway, I think I could do some interior stuff as well. Whatever. Let's see what you all said about the yes or the no in the delayed reaction. Yes, always. So, is this a new show? Black Ops, it's happening. Project Akiva is a confirmed Empress Mirror Universe Georgiou in it. Well, so starring role, but in it. Show about Mirror Universe. We assume Black Ops is the keyword that lots of sites are using, and I've quoted that because I thought it's quite interesting that they're specifically calling it. Yes, please. Also show the 26th century. Yes, I like the Mako's pitch. But I've been stopped by Mark Lawrence, who's put in $17.01, which is a wonderfully fun amount. Premise: Sloane is alive. DS9 Death was a clone. Yes, a Sloane clone. And with that, we continue on in Prime Timeline. Also fun. Also, yeah, I mean, he is just like Baal from the Stargate franchise. He is one of those characters that does not necessarily need to die, and can always sort of find a rationale for being, oh, he's fine. Oh, he had a way out. I can buy that. He was that sort of character. David, do you have Section 31 in your temporary project? No, because it is, well, it could very easily be a overused trope. Very quickly become that. And also, it is not in 99.9% of the narratives in Trek, so it's obviously not a needed concept. While fun, there are temporal things that happen, but Station 31 not so much. And Sean, is it supposed to take place in the Mirror Universe? No. So yeah, let me pitch something then to you all. Mirror Universe. So we know it's Discoveryverse, for better or for worse. We know it's Mirror Georgiou, which is interesting in and of itself. I mean, we know that the Red Angels, and they would be absurd not to link it to Discovery Season 2. If you're knowing you're doing a secondary show, you can link things in cleverly. So if the Angels, the Red Angels, whatever they are some sort of super powerful menace, like the Iconians would be an obvious one, or something, or Preservers, something, offshoot of them. They're coming to do bad things to the galaxy. If we allow them to be a multiple season plot, so not just, end of season 1, we win. Keep forgetting about ibuprofen. Then if you don't defeat them in season 1, when we pause them, but the show tone goes more to exploration then, because we think they've been dealt with, but Georgiou knows they have not been, and Section 31 knows they haven't been. And so you allow the grandiose plot stuff to be dealt with in the Section 31 show, which is where you can have cloaking devices, transphasic cloaking devices, quantum appears 50 years early. Those sorts of things you can have, because it's like, you can buy it, you know? Transphasic beaming, you know, these things that are absurd, any other time, you can sort of justify just enough. So yeah, Red Angels think they're gone, they're not really, they're just biding their time. And then Georgiou's like, hey, I'm willing to take them on. And so we see a new admiral who's introduced in season 2 being her sort of minder. But what's her incentive? Because Georgiou, I would assume, would want to get back, but maybe she's, I mean, the obvious choice would be the spore drive itself. She might be looking to try and harness that. If she can get usable schematics of it, then she has, all she needs to have is a ship, and she can deal with any possible force, maybe. Especially given the more advanced technology in the mirror universe. So biding a time for that, and you know, you don't get to be emperor without some good planning, or at least lots of murdering skills. So she goes along with it for a few months, but half of the plot is then her internal plot. But we'd have to humanize it. Maybe she left kids. I know she had surrogate daughter of Michael Burnham, mirror Michael Burnham, but you know, wife, husband, some sort of secondary thing she's longing for. You know, I miss you sort of way. Give us some human connection, and that she only had to live up to the mirror universe. She didn't actually necessarily was its most evil participant. I mean, if you watch her, while she killed a lot more than, say, a Mirror Kirk did, she didn't necessarily have the same evil yells of a Mirror Kirk, who was more literally just a bad man, rather than a mass murdering genocidal person. But you have to humanize her a little bit, but keep the underlying thing, and anti-heroes only go so far. Deadpool being an interesting exception, but still only goes so far. So I suppose you'd have her, when you've got an ends justify the means sort of thing, but I would give her either a partner or a team. Team's probably more interesting, of Section 31 agents, one of which is a new agent who, more like Bashir, has a real grey questioning, but he's so talented at what he does that Georgiou can't kill him, but she almost does a few times, because that's characterful. You have some other characters who probably link to other characters in the Trek universe. Maybe a augment Klingon, that'd be fun, who was taken by Section 31, you know, a few weeks after the augment virus, and it's like a descendant of that with the successful strength improvements. You've got like a Klingon, but not Klingon, which lets you get rid of the makeup differences anyway. And then you've got this team, and they have to go on undercover missions, and like Suicide Squad, because that's the anti-hero show, the anti-hero movie, and then you go out and you do these things, but it would be really high profile things where, you know, normally a Starfleet ship, well, Star Trek 5, you send a ship, sort of goes well, they sort of tried this approach, but the Mirror Universe or Section 31 approach would be beaming in and just shooting everyone. That's their version. It'd be very successful. So there is some merit if you want to deal with a plan, deal with the situation. It always amuses me in TV shows where the villain is threatening you or someone else, and you have to give up your gun or weapon. But if you do so, then they've got the bomb that kills the town or the city. It's like you... but then it's your fault if, yes, you saved your friend, but it's your fault then that everyone else has got killed. I mean, okay, you didn't do it, but it's, you know, fault is relative. You know, you could have stopped it and you chose not to. And then with the families of those people who died, be, oh, well, at least you saved your friend in cold blood, you know. So it's like these characters don't have to do it. They can just go in and murder and kill. Although she could be the thing that pushes Section 31 into the more evil side. I mean, we know the other two iterations, when primary canon was being respected fully, were more in the shadows, politically mixing, clever strategy. Georgiou is literally just a mass murderer, so where they go from there is interesting or not. Oh, no super chats in that time. Ah, that's a shame. Oh, me. Anyone have anything to what I said? There's a mighty small command center. Yes, it is. Admiral Paris wasn't easy. No, he wasn't. He didn't know Section 31. Isn't every admiral is evil? Not evil per se. Bad man. How is your Trek movie? Good. Temporal Anomaly is coming out this month, and Convergence, we've got some good background stuff going well, but we've still got to film the last half. But we've got to bring so many people together that it's like it either happens or it doesn't, and you've got to wait until it can happen, which is the problem. But crossing fingers, it'll be in summer, I'm assuming. I wish it was done by now, but I'm doing some other fan films that I haven't got the time to not do it. Yes, I agree with the commander. Thanks, man. I haven't seen Transformers to know. The only time Section 31 backfired was in JJ Trek with Khan. Very true. Hey, another super chat. Thanks so much, Baz T. Hi, Commander. Hi, Baz T. This is off topic. Do you think Q or another Q will show up in the Picard show or other Trek? Maybe later on in Discovery to sort it out. Live long and prosper. Yeah, I think Q is a natural choice. Jonathan Delancey isn't too old. I mean, none of them are actually too old. Even Shatner, I think, can do something cool. I mean, then it's sort of a natural thing if you want to start with, restart with Q. It'd be a nice way, although the Q storyline, as it were, the Q test ended. But it could be fun. But then you're relying on the tropes. But it depends if it's really well written. It's all about the writing, because you can, the original series Into Mirror Darkly was well written, TOS fanfare, so it worked tremendously. Whereas it could have been not good. So it all depends on the writing, honestly. So this shows a spin-off from Discovery. Yes, it is the first actual spin-off. Who is the character on the lower left? It's like an old Chekhov. That is the Admiral or the Section 31 officer from Enterprise. Imagine Q going up against Thanos. Would Q survive the snap? Well, yeah, but if Q went against Thanos, Q wouldn't allow the snap to happen. So, no brainer. No brainer at all. Yeah, I don't think Section 31 should have ships, personally. But that's just me. In fact, they should either commandeer what they need or use other methods of transport. I can kind of buy, runabout size, very, very fast, surprisingly fast ships that have, a cloak and a very advanced beam. I can buy that, but I don't want them to have like a fleet. It makes it a little bit less special if they can just bring on, look, it's the Section 31 fleet. It's cool that they have to have, other ships, sort of nick them or whatever. So that's pretty cool. My idea, though, not canon necessarily. There's a lag. There's always a lag, sorry. How's my audio sounding? Though not canon necessarily. There's a lag. There's always a lag. Sounds just fine. Fine for me. Imagine Section 31 using old X era ships. Yeah. There's a lag. There's always a lag. Sounds just fine. Fine for me. That's interesting. Yeah. Do you see a Section 31 show having legs to be a multiple season arc? it's more of a gimmick show. It's
Do you see a section
you know,
31
it could do anything, and that's also its biggest weakness.
show having legs to
Because
be
if you do something really small or really stupid or damage the universe, then it's devaluing it.
You know, it
could do anything, and that's someone's playing in the background.
show having legs to
Because if you do something really small, I'm playing in the background. That's why. Echo, echo. Sorry, yes, I saw it in the thing. Everyone's commenting. Yes, yes, I know. No, it's a darn good 6 to 8 episode mini-series. I guess that's pretty much a full series of content. But I don't think it has the legs to be an entire show. Like 8 seasons. Like, you'd really have to give all the secrets. Or go very ultra minor. It's a Hitchhiker's Planet. Ursa Minor Beta? Ursa Minor Beta, no. Because the Star Wars Rebels, the first season was very tiny. It was about a planet. I don't remember the name. It was a while ago. You let me know in the comments what the planet was, and that was very minimalist story. But that was both interesting, but also quite weak, because if you didn't care, you didn't care. And lots seemed to happen on that planet, which was kind of weird. And then when it got into space and dealt with bigger issues, it certainly broadened and got more interesting, but it had to build up, I guess, to that. It's like Legends of Tomorrow. It should be a single season, or you get drugs and unicorns. Well, Legends is interesting because Legends had a very concise season 1, but then it changed the paradigm of the show into just being this fun team time show, which is absolutely fine. It wasn't the tone of the show started with, but they found their own niche. And yeah, the Unicorn Legends was brilliant. It was real fun. Yes, I thought Star Voyager was only going to be a mini-series as well. Granted, I was about 8 at the time. Well, the mini-series, I mean, real far away to be a mini-series. Real far away. Also, how do you make Mira Georgiou interesting? She was literally Space Hitler. I mean, they obviously tried to push her in more of a relatable way, I suppose. Having a deal with Burnham and be less evil, more like Georgiou. I mean, it's tricky. I certainly wouldn't pick her to be the hero or the primary character. I'd pick a team, and then it'd be interesting then to have her come in. But I certainly wouldn't have her be the primary. I think that's not necessarily a mistake, but I wouldn't have done that. She's a great secondary, but not a primary. Even if the actor's capable, that's not the point. Lethal, thank you. Extra Galaxy threat. I've pitched Extra Galaxy like the Yuuzhan Vong multiple times, Spino. Multiple times. Yeah, Legends of Tomorrow was absolutely from Elseworld, but it didn't need it. It was good by itself. So we've only got 15 minutes left, guys. Let's get some final super chat questions, and then I can go back doing some art. I am doing I had to swap what I was doing today because I was going to do some CG, and then I was having to swap to doing some notes on a convergence set because the chap I'm working with suddenly is going to be very busy very, very soon. So I have a 29 layer Photoshop document where I've screen capped parts of the sets, and I'm writing small notes on because I got to do all the last sets of notes. But as part of that, for the observation room, briefing room, I'm having to design 2 bits of art to go on the walls because everything in the 3D set is very much custom built. So I've got to design that before I can show it. I've already done one with Captain James Monroe's old ship, the USS Mako. I'm going to do one art piece with the USS Horizon herself, so that'll be fun. But I got to do all this art like real quick because I need to send this off to him to actually finalise-ish, at least close enough finalise. And then I'm doing Trade film with Stuart tomorrow. No, live with Stuart. I'm not doing filming, but I'm doing an animation for an RPG group, which is kind of exciting. They're doing a Nova class exploration RPG. I do like the Nova class. Yeah, well, Discovery was pitched as several and multiple possible pitches. It wasn't so just with that. DS9 Voyager HD Remaster would be wise. I'm one of the few that know more what that involves than most, and it would be very tricky. Very doable, but very tricky. I mean, a team with me in it and other fans that can do it, we can certainly do it, but it's a lot of stuff to do, and just the quality you need. Would you want it to be modern VFX models? Higher than that? Don't know. And I certainly quite enjoyed using alternate 3D models for temporal anomaly to use even higher res and convergence, like an even better Nova class, Nova class mesh. And that was fun to see it look even better. Is the USS Mako similar to the Star Trek Beyond Franklin? What era is it? The USS Mako is an Intrepid class. It was one of the... either it was actually on a diagram somewhere. It was from Bridge Commander. Mako was in the files for the Intrepid class. It was one that would randomly spawn as a registry, and I liked the name Mako. It was different. Makers did exist, but I didn't make that connection. So it's just Intrepid class, because I still want to use Intrepid or Voyager. That was a good name, and now it's my own personal fan film canon. So it'd be great to do a talk about convergence at some point. I really would like to talk about my work on convergence, because I'm pretty proud of it. As you can imagine, now it's a bit cheeky to show off one's own work, but I certainly am proud. That is not what I was trying to find. And people are welcome to, look, it's me. It's Meta Me. I'm here live talking. War, Republic, VFX artist for the Federation Files, Voyager Continues, Intrepid, What's More the Feeling, and of course my own fan film, Temporal Anomaly. So I come before you today to talk about our next project. I say not just mine, but our next project. Haven't changed much, have I?
This is a crossover event. A crossover event we've never seen before in the Star Trek fan film community.
Convergence. It's a fan film. It's a fan film.
Is that the official title?
I've got that.
I can't keep track. It was Avengers, now it's
Well,
Convergence.
that's what Avengers, can I? This is the crew of...
I mean, I'm like
What?
the same height.
Crew of what?
The crew of many ships.
Okay, you go to the
my
back,
fan
'cause I'm
film.
not sure
Yeah,
of you.
shorter asses to the front.
The crew of... Look at those uniforms
Actually, I
that...
guess you're kind of above average.
Converging.
I'm
Convergence.
only 5'5".
I'm trying to talk
Convergence
in
and
the
Star
video.
Trek fan
Listen to
film.
me, everyone.
This film brings together some amazing captains,
Look,
characters,
it's the-
ships, and alien
It's
races
the Icarus.
from lots of the best fan films of the last 10 years into one story. There's a reason why the working title was Star Trek Avengers, because it is that sort of epic
Hand
crossover.
motion. Hi. So that was my shameless self-promotion. The Batavia, yes! My epic crossover. I really want to talk about this at some point. I think that would be fun. But you've got the wonderful Renegades ship, which I made look very pretty. And you've got Horizon, which is over here somewhere. Big shout out to Eric Henry for the Pacific Easter egg. Because I like fun things like that. Where's Horizon? Look how fancy that looks. Lots of fades. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. It's my ship right there. Well done. I have those mugs. Congratulations. What I've been waiting for. I enjoy these various shows and crossovers. Oh, you're... Eric Henry does, so why not you? What? What does he do or not do? I don't know. Yeah. God, it's so cool. No. I just want to show it because it's fun. Me directing. Comfy chairs. I've literally never looked at this clip, and now I've seen her wear this pig. Is a woman wearing a pig shirt? No, it's a woman wearing a. I mean, it's Nim wearing. Oh, bubblegum, and that's a really weird shirt. I've never noticed that shirt. Even though I was literally filming with her for hours, and she was wearing that. That's funny. I was very focused as a director, I guess. So yeah, that's my little. I'm allowed to brag and be proud of what I do. It's my own fan film. Very much prime. Very excited for it to come out. Very excited for you to see the update I've got, which will come probably in February. I already filmed it, but I've got to actually edit it all and such, and it takes a bit of green screen. Didn't you show us a previous time when you were on your own too? I showed things. Yes. I mean, it's been, that's the thing. You all are regulars, a lot of you, so it's, some of you recognise it, some of you don't. But one more super chat question, and then I can go back to other work. So let me know about the Section 31 show. Do you have any specific idea, any specific question, any specific comment? Because I guess my bottom line is I am thoroughly interested. I have not... Discovery have lost the benefit of the doubt which they had with season 1. That's just what happens. But season 2 could be great, and new writers could be great, and new producers could be great, and Georgiou herself has a lot of potential. But how do you make a regular show about Hitler? It's not exactly, not exactly the show we'd all pitch. But I did, because I try and, very disclaimer, I did specifically call out that a Section 31 show would at least be interesting. So I'm all open for seeing it. Yeah, I'd be interested to see it. But it's got to be good. That's the disclaimer. That's the thing. Is that a trill? It's a fake trill. Brian, when will the final film be released? I've got to film the second half, but Temporarily will come out very, very soon. How they made Iron Sky. Don't know what that means. Go on, guys. One more super chat and I can go. I want to do something else. Not in a bad way. Just I need to make a new poster of I think that's why I showed That's why I showed Convergence, because I was thinking that because I was making the poster. Oops. But if you guys are fans of the Nova class, I'm doing a new animation, a new sequence with the Nova class for a RPG group, which should look pretty nice. It's very explorationative, and that's a word, sure. So it should feel very Trek, which is my hope. We're doing Orville review. We might not do Orville reviews because the last ones, the proper the edited reviews got very, very few views, and for some reason got extremely low ad revenue, which was very disheartening because it took time to make those. Yeah, 2.5 thousand, 3.7 thousand, which is just awful for us. That's really bad, showing that the lack of interest. And they were shorter, they were more concise. We really hoped that you guys would be more excited that we'd hit those 10,000 from last year because of shorter, easy to watch reviews. And yet, an hour and a half review or 2 hour review, we used to do, we get 10,000 and then earn the ad revenue for the time and work spent. And then our live streams are really poor as well. So, I mean, you guys spoke with your views and just wasn't interested in was not the interest in the Orville stuff. It's a massive disappointment because we really want to talk about them. Yeah. What did Val might say? What about Orville live streams? Again, I think about 70 people turned up for the review. And we only got about $18, which is not worth the hour and a half time spent. You know, we need to make at least sort of 60 for it to be worth our time, which is important because I have to earn that to keep the show going. I don't know. Why is about symbiotes pooing? That's very strange. Yeah, we might do another good old gamer like for a set of episodes, but I mean, it's a balancing act because the fact is, for if there's 1,000 people like it, that's great. But with 36,000 of subscribers or nearing 40, if most of them don't watch, then it's clearly not something the audience, our general audience, wants. And a TV show doesn't keep getting made if it's got no audience. Then you can't sell it to advertisers and such. It's tricky. And like I say, I really enjoyed our new format. We did both the Orville reviews in a short form where we sort of jumped around a bit. Wasn't very detailed, but it was detailed where it needed to be. Very easily watchable, light tone. Really enjoyable to do them. But almost more so than last year. It was weird. Where's Captain Foley? I have literally no idea. You know what? I'm going to ask him. Stuart, people are actually asking where you are. If you see this, I will let them know. Your reviews probably took a hit when you had to go to stills. We always use stills. I always made the effort to go in and take sometimes 120 stills from each episode. I had an intro that I made, and that people didn't like. Well, Fox didn't like that, I think. No, we used less stills, but we still got views for those reviews just fine. And then we approached these ones with plenty of stills, and it still didn't equate. So it was, we've never tried to use a video because they would get flagged, and there'd be no point doing them. Well, that's the thing. If Patreon allows us to do stuff that doesn't need ads, but Orville live streams are already in progress. I mean, I can talk about Orville if you've got a super chat question, I will talk about Orville. So that's up to you guys. Yeah. That's fine, Spino, don't worry. Discovery wants to come. Jeez, can you imagine the amount of Discovery content we're going to have to do? And we are going to want to cover this thing fairly and properly. And yes, I see Chef Kirk. I'm trying not to ask it. No, I'm trying to answer it because we have a history with Spencer, or at least he has a history with us. Not in a bad way per se, just we're not ever going to necessarily cover that ship because he's an interesting man and he was disrespectful to our audience. A little bit racist, just a smidge. And we're just not going to deal with that problem. 99cast, I suggest you do videos on the new Orville spacecraft. Now that was interesting, actually. We did that for season 1, and they also got very low views. Slightly better than the tech, but they were averaging pretty low stuff, and we had little to talk about because there was never any thought put into the ships beyond aesthetics. And that's fine because the universe isn't built that way. But it didn't quite do great. The reviews are better because they were more general. Orville I think is loved but not as well viewed. Yeah. No worries, I'm sure your views will pick up when Discovery comes back. I'm sure it will, with our lots of coverage, lots of looking at stuff, analysing. Not the guide to the ship for Spencer's. Yeah, the ship is nice, but Spencer's canonical where it fits in. Replaces Enterprise A, but it still evolves to Excelsior, despite it being humongously compared to the Excelsior. It's like 3/4 the size, if not. So it doesn't fit into where he wants to fit in. He's not thought about its actual Trek lineage, and yet he claims he has. But it has lots of nice things, but it's really boxy and squared off, and the evolution line is not there, which is the important bit. The Excelsior obviously isn't necessarily an evolutionary line from Enterprise Constitution class, but you can see the You can see the jump. Yeah, it's nice. I mean, let me have a look. Well, I haven't looked at it for a while. Let's have a look. What is it even known? Oh, I guess Mystic's my better way. I mean, it's just bit boxy, and I don't know. It's very well thought out, but aesthetically and I don't know. It's weird. It's an interesting amalgam. It doesn't quite work. Is that my render? No. So no one's been talking about Orville for a super chat then. Fine. It's trade cars, not Orville yards. Very, very true. Does Orville have lots of technobabble? No, not really. Orville is an exploratory class. Explorer class. Yeah. Season recap. I think that's very likely, yes. I would like to do like maybe 3 or 4 episodes. Because I'm still going to watch them either way, so it's not as if I won't know this stuff. Brian, take care, enjoy the show this evening. Thank you. Catch you later in the Continuum, Commander. That's funny, I'm going to go watch Continuum. Is that where's Continuum? Yes, Continuum, the show. I'm watching season 2 today. Joseph Perez. Get some sleep, Samuel. I will as well. Thanks, Joe. I'm not going to sleep, though. I've got to do notes on my fan film thing. Get off to my guy, otherwise I can't get it done. So thank you so much, everyone, for another great Super Chat live talky talk with you all, you wonderful people. Just a tremendous audience, and I hope you guys enjoyed a solo Command Cooking stream, because this is not necessarily a rarity per se, but it's certainly not a norm. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you again for another live stream probably soon. Oh my god, Mark Lawrence. Just as I was about to close out, Orville feels like TNG to me. It is very much like TNG, and that's okay. But yeah, thanks so much, guys. Certainly love you all, and you'll see me tomorrow to talk about... Guys, tomorrow I've got to rewatch 4 episodes of Discovery, because I'm reviewing the... We're doing a sort of final 4 episodes of Discovery live thing. A lot of Discovery to watch in one day. Before then, Thursday, where it all starts again, and Wednesday we're doing another live stream at the 5 Eastern, 10 GMT to talk about our predictions, our formal predictions for Season 2. That is our plan. So until tomorrow night, you'll see me again. This is Commander Cockings. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you next time, and I'm going to click stop. So goodbye, everyone. Bye, guys.